Because you made me laugh. I've got to be Andy today, have I?
I guess
Hey guys,
so.
how's it going? Let us know if we're live. Give us a like, a thumbs up. Yeah, this feels weird being in control.
Yeah.
Like the responsibility's too much.
That is a...
Yeah, so let us know if we're coming through loud and clear. Obviously, I've lost Andy today, but I've improved upon that by bringing Fee into the fold.
We're live.
There we are. We're live. And you can hear us okay. We're live okay. The microphone works.
It's unusual not to have any tech issues.
It is unusual, especially for me. More than once I've had to abort and come. Remember that one time when I got really stressed when you were there?
And a lot of times.
Yeah. So yeah, all good, awesome. So hey, Mona, Davy Cliff, Tamrin, Shona, Heather, Evertrek, Marky V, Tina Barrett, awesome. So yeah, welcome everyone to today's Tuesday Tune In. What is it? A palindrome day?
It's a palindromic date. Yeah.
Palindromic date because it's 2202 2022.
Yeah.
And
so
then
it reads the same backwards as forwards.
Yeah. And then I think if you wait till 22 minutes past 2 a.m.
Wow.
to rewatch this, you'll be watching it at 2202 2022 0222.
Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, that's too many twos. But yeah, awesome. Welcome, guys. And Andy, as I'm sure we're all used to from time to time now, likes to go on holiday. So he's over in Tenerife, I think, enjoying some sun with his family. But like I said, I've improved upon Andy now by bringing Fee. See, we flipped the camera. If I hadn't have done that, I'd be pointing
I know
the other way.
It was confusing, but we're there now.
Yeah, and yeah, the reason why we brought Fee on today, not just to replace Andy, but a very important reason. So Fee has booked her first ever high altitude trip.
First ever trek trip.
First ever trek trip. And first time to high altitude?
Yeah, absolutely. First time at altitude.
Yeah, and first time going through all the kit buying.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big conversation about pants.
A lot of conversation about knickers.
Knickers, yeah. And so what we thought we'd do a trip on today is, well, how did Fee come to the conclusion? Where is she going? Why did she choose there?
Mm-hmm.
What's she looking forward to? What's she apprehensive about? And potentially where is she going to go next? And also got a little bit of an announcement, but I'm going to save that, I think.
Save that a little bit later.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about your trip.
Yeah.
Then do the announcement bit.
Then the questions.
And then we'll do the questions. And then we'll call it a day, shall we?
Yeah, then we'll have some lunch.
Awesome. Then we'll have lunch. So yeah, awesome. Again, part-timer, Shona, you're dead right.
Now that the travel restrictions are out the way, yeah, expect to see not very much of Andy.
No.
He's got 2 years to pack in, 2 years worth of traveling to pack into this next year. So.
Yeah. Also an ambigram, as it's the same read upside down.
Ooh, that's good info. I like that, Heather.
Depends on your handwriting.
That's true.
My twos look different if they're upside down.
I like that though.
Sorry, Heather. I'm picking on her, aren't I? I should have said that's fine. Here we go. Mick, he's already in there with the cues. When it comes to tipping the local guides, is it best to tip in the local currency? Should I answer it now? I'll save it. I'll save it for later.
Save that.
Yeah, and we've got Rosie on the phones today as well. So she's going to be collating all of these questions and we'll be going through them. But yeah, let's kick it off then. So, Fee, your first high altitude adventure. You excited?
Yeah, I am excited. I'm really excited. It's really nice to be thinking about traveling again. And yeah, because I joined Evertrek during the pandemic, haven't been able to travel until this point. So yeah, super excited. Little bit apprehensive, I'll be honest. A little bit nervous about it.
What are you scared of?
Scared about the altitude.
Yeah.
And yeah, just feeling unwell. And yeah, just because you can't prepare yourself for that altitude sickness. Just a bit concerned in case I get hit with anything. But
yeah,
hey ho. I am trusting in the guides.
What are you looking forward to? First of all, we should say where you're going.
Yeah.
So what have you decided on? Now you could go anywhere. Every single one of the trips, any trip on our roster.
Open to me.
So Aconcagua, I believe you've chosen.
No.
Not Aconcagua. So Mera.
We've not started quite at that height. No.
Oh, so Elbrus.
Bring it down. Would not be a good idea to book Elbrus right now, would it?
Penavan. Valid point, actually. Yeah, that's political.
Yeah, that is a little bit political.
Yeah.
We're on the cusp of World War III.
So higher than Penavan.
Higher than Penavan.
Lesser than Aconcagua.
Yes.
Where is it?
So I have booked to go to Machu Picchu.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And out of the whole roster, why Machu Picchu?
I think it appealed to me in terms of, so I like the idea of the kind of historical significance and the culture, and the fact that it's not a straight up and down mountain. You're trekking through, through the scenery and getting to know a bit about Peru and a bit about the local culture and stuff. That really appeals to me more than perhaps just a straight up and down a mountain trek. Which we don't do many treks that are just straight up and down a mountain. There's normally something a little bit interesting or a little bit fun about them. But I think it appealed to me in that way. Also, I don't like the cold. So a lot of our trips involve cold, which I don't enjoy. So I thought I'd start with a warm trip. I might gear up to a cold trip at some point, but I'm starting with a warm trip. And the altitude isn't too high. So I think on the trek, Machu Picchu itself is about 2,000 something, isn't it? But I think you get up to about 4,000.
Yeah, so there is a high pass.
You go up and then back down into the valley.
Yeah.
So you get to around 4,000, 4.5, something like that. I can't remember the exact height. So it's kind of like it's good altitude, but it's not crazy altitude.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that'll be a good introduction to altitude for me.
It's funny you talking about cold, because you really don't like the cold, do you? I went camping with you to St. David's in July.
It was cold.
And you had a down jacket with you.
It's really cold.
Yeah. And what we're going to do, which is going to be really funny one day, we're actually going to get Fee to write down all the reasons why you wouldn't want to go to K2 base camp. Because as a lot of you know, we have the Evertrek app powered by Vamoose that gives you lots of lovely trip information. And Fee is the one that sits there and puts all of this information into Vamoose. So when you go in there and you see what day you're on, or you want to check what's ahead, it gives you a lovely description and a photo. And the whole time Fee was like, why would you go here?
You're sleeping on ice.
You're sleeping on ice. It's far away. The scenery's the same.
It's sleeping on ice.
Yeah.
The scenery does look stunning, I must admit. Like it is very impressive.
That's what I said.
The pictures are amazing.
There's nothing there but some of the biggest mountains on Earth. That's all that's there.
That's all that's there. That's
just glaciers and big mountains. That's all that's there.
You sleep on ice.
You do. You sleep on ice. Well, I mean, no. Well, yeah.
You do.
You do.
I've written the itinerary.
Sorry. No, but you're in a tent.
Yeah.
On the ice. Yeah. So, actually, Fee, people, Mona's asked where your baseball cap is. I don't think I've ever seen you wear a baseball cap. Yeah. But
I could steal Dave's, but he'd get very upset about revealing the haircut underneath, wouldn't you?
Don't like the haircut.
No, it's not looking good today.
No, it's a terrible hair. I'm growing the terrible haircut out. To a new terrible haircut. But this one is that's why I've been wearing a hat almost pretty religiously for a while now. I'm not that vain. I could take it off. I could take it off
if you wanted to. Just don't want to.
Why should I?
No, exactly.
Beanie hat for Fee, 100%. A big woolly one.
We've got any hats in the office, actually.
There is a baseball cap over there. It's like a.
That's one of the ones that's like really wide, isn't it? The Evertrek one.
No, that I don't know if that is a really wide one, but it was one that didn't make the cut. I think.
Right.
It was an Evertrek one that we had made that we decided we weren't going to make.
Wasn't good enough.
I always hesitant to show them on the live because some people are always like, I want one, and then we'll have to make them, and we don't make them. No, we don't make them. But no, Machu Picchu is amazing, and it kind of ties in nicely because we are sort of talking a lot about South America at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
One of our guys, Stuart, is over there doing the summit Sapphire at the minute.
He's sending back some amazing photos.
Yeah, he summited Cotopaxi. I believe he summited Cayambe, and I think he's now on his way to Chimborazo. Mm-hmm. So in the next few days, we should be getting an update on that. So that's amazing. Mona says I've got a number 4 at the moment. I think I'm less than that. I nearly took it off then to check. I nearly took it off. But yeah, so you mentioned obviously what I love about this is because I work with people and we never really get the chance to sort of talk to people who are like right next to me about what you're afraid of. I mean, we were talking about equipment and Fee's like, what pants do I need? And I said merino wool.
I'm not sure I said what pants do I need.
No. Okay, maybe it developed into that.
I think a customer asked about wool pants.
That was it, yeah.
And then I said, surely I don't need to buy wool pants. I can just take my normal pants. And it started a whole conversation about pants.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to buy some wool pants.
Merino wool.
Yeah, merino wool
or
pants.
Murano wool.
Merino wool pants.
Merino wool pants.
It's tongue twister.
And and there was a little bit, icebreaker siren bikinis are great. See,
The parachutes will open if I pull these toggles, so I've got to be very careful.
Is that what's happened? Don't pull the toggles in front of you. Yeah, literally, she'll shoot up through the air.
Like gone.
But yeah, no, it is important. I mean, straight into kit as well. We were talking about all the stuff you're going to need.
I need to buy a lot of stuff, so I'm starting to make a list.
Yeah. Have you got hiking boots?
Shopping.
The last hike I did with you, you wore Adidas trainers. Shoes.
Yeah, trail shoes. I have got hiking boots, but I absolutely need new ones. So I've got hiking boots from about 20 or 15 years ago, which I did a few challenges in this country. So I did the Welsh Three Peaks and the Lake District 3000s.
Yeah.
And they are really old and really, really heavy. I can't even remember what they are. But yeah, absolutely upgrading those and buying some new ones.
What are you going to get?
I don't know.
I think you do.
People might have bingo cards.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Look,
listen, I'm trying to help them along, but
hand hovering.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was explaining the difference between why you want to buy merino wool pants. This conversation has gone to pants, as Paul Dewhurst has said.
You've gone back to pants.
Yeah, We've
moved away. We were on boots.
I'm about 3 topics of conversation away from pants at any one time. But I love the merino wool. They are expensive. I buy the icebreaker ones. Anatomica, I think.
There's some good deals actually, because somebody was asking about where you could get sort of more affordable ones, and actually Decathlon have got some merino wool.
I knew it.
Damn it. It's because you messed my brain up now, and now it's in there. They're both in there, and now it's like 50-50 which one is right. Anyway, wool pants in Decathlon for a good price. So I might go. There's a big Decathlon store not far from us at
is there?
In the Tesco's in Carverhouse Cross.
Oh, nice.
In Cardiff. There is a big Decathlon shop in there, so I might go and have a look and see if they've got some pants in there.
Yeah, awesome. Mm-hmm. Talking about the altitude, then, is that something that does it put you off going to it, like these trips? Do you think have you thought much about diamox and
I just don't know how it's going to hit me, and I think I would rather avoid diamox if I can, based on the fact that I'm a woman of a certain age who pees quite regularly anyway. So taking on lots of fluids and having diamox could prove an issue for me. Someone I saw did mention shiwi earlier in the conversation about equipment. So yeah, that might be something I need to look into.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, if it's needed, it's needed, and I will take advice. And I'm not one to suffer without taking whatever help is on hand. So if I start to feel ill, if I start to get headaches and things, I'll be telling my guide, and if they say this is what you need to take, then I'm going to take it.
That's awesome as well, because that's one of the questions that people often ask is about altitude and should I or shouldn't I take diamox and how do I do it. And one of the things that kind of gets overlooked is that these are guided trips, and it's not really until perhaps you're on the trip or even come back and reflect just what an absolute linchpin your guide is for the trip. He is perhaps the single most important aspect of the trip for you in everything that you do, because they know where you're going, they know how you're feeling, they know the reason why you're feeling the way you are as well. So it's like, I remember the first time I ever went to altitude. So my first trip, I went to EBC, and you don't know, like, never been to altitude before. So you have a headache, and you're thinking, you have a tendency to be like, headache. Okay, great, that's cerebral edema. I don't know
why I would think that straight away. I might just think I've got a headache, but whatever.
And then it's like a little bit of a cough, and you're like, awesome, great. That's tuberculosis. That's tuberculosis. Yeah, you have it, like, honestly, and that was my first guide, Raoul, who was in Nepal, told me that as soon as people go to altitude, everyone starts monitoring their body in the most minute detail, and they associate everything to altitude. So Paul Dewhurst has said coca every time in Peru.
Okay.
They do that. They chew the coca leaves. A lot of the locals, they have a gourd around their neck.
Right.
And a lot of their farms are at high altitude. So they pull out the coca leaves and chew them.
Oh, interesting.
We don't have it. We have a more refined version in Newport.
Right.
Where I live, that is made from the same
family of plants.
Same family of plants, But that's what they do, and apparently it really does help with the altitude. I'm not sure the physiologic. Maybe it just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
while you're out
I would
there.
definitely give that a go.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
And I have heard there are lots of places in South America that sell the coca leaves. Don't bring
Yeah.
them back with you; you will get into a lot of trouble.
Okay.
But whilst you're there, you can try and chew them and stuff like that. And apparently, it
Interesting.
does make a big difference. Another thing as well is obviously the importance of like vitamins when you're out there.
Mhm.
And there is, so I always take a multivit with me when I go out there anyway.
Yeah.
Largely because your diet, one, will be different. So
Yeah.
all of the things that you normally eat won't actually. You eat a lot of vegetables anyway, so it might be less of a drop for you.
Right. Yeah.
But also there are certain things that they recommend. So and the high altitude center do a something called Altivit, which
Right.
apparently is a vitamin that helps you adjust to
That's interesting.
high altitude and stuff like that.
Very interesting.
I'm really interested to know if it really makes much of a difference.
Yeah.
I think at the very least it'll be a multivit that you can take.
Yeah.
That'll sort of give you a little boost and stuff like that. Yeah. So loads of stuff about the leaves and stuff like that. So Shona used coca leaves at altitude in Bolivia. Bolivia, I'd love to go to Bolivia.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Bri as well. The guides are everything. Your sat nav, your friend, your medic, your mum, your dad, your encyclopedia, everything. Trust them and rely on them. Exactly.
That's great. That's a great description.
Yeah, we should steal
might steal that. Yeah.
Can I copy and paste that comment? No, I can't. Oh, I nearly blocked the user then. Don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
How do I do that?
Just come away, Dave. Just click
away.
There
we go. Yeah. No, yeah, that's really, really good. Brian, you couldn't have put it better.
That's a really good description.
Yeah, and for anyone that's going to their altitude for the first time as well, and you'll realize this when you're out there as well. The guide is just everything. It's like without them, you just feel terrified and lost.
Yeah.
But with them, you feel like you could walk into the valley of death. You're just not worried at all. There isn't a valley of death in Peru, by the way.
Good. That's good. Yeah, you don't we did have a comment recently, didn't we, from some people who'd just come back from Kili who said that summit night, they wouldn't have got through the summit night without the guides. Yeah, which was really great to hear.
I totally agree as well. The first time, well, the only time I've done Kili was February 2020, and it's more, I find that the summit night on Kili is more of a mental challenge because physically you're going uphill. We've all been up hills before. Most people that arrive at the summit of Kilimanjaro are sort of at least slightly accustomed to hill walking, so it's not unfamiliar. What is unfamiliar is why do I always miss sorry, I got distracted by the comments. See, Andy normally does this. I'm not normally trained on the comments. It's the fact that I've trekked at night before. I've trekked at altitude before, and I've trekked for a long time before. But to do all three of those things at once, and it's forever changing. So
and lack of sleep as well on that. Summit night.
Well, I was up for nearly 40 hours when I did it. Some people might be able to grab some sleep, but I was unable to. Like I can't go to sleep just before I summit a mountain and just go to bed.
Yeah,
it's not possible. But one of the things I loved about it was it's ever changing. You start off in the night, it's cold. And then gradually the altitude gets higher. You're awake longer. It's still dark. Then you reach the summit and it's sunset. So coming down, you go down a different way. It's a completely different experience. It's light. The altitude's getting lower, but you're still extending the length of time that you're awake. So it actually, for me, started to feel harder and harder, even though I was gaining.
As you were coming down.
Even though I was coming down, it was in the daylight. It was a lot warmer. In fact, I was like t-shirt weather on the way down. But I found it much harder than the way up, and I think that was probably the staying awake.
That tiredness. Absolutely.
I think in Machu Picchu as well, you probably maybe not to that extreme, but there will be times there where you just feel like so tired, and that is the altitude. Like on the high passes and stuff, you'll start to feel it. But what do they say? It's the attitude, not the altitude.
That's what they say. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. So I was thinking, what's next for you then after Machu Picchu?
Well, I mean, let me get that one under my belt first.
Yeah, I know.
Talking about the next one.
Yeah, it is almost like though I've been waiting because we've all wanted to go on these awesome trips.
Yeah,
but
we've wanted to go for so long. Before
lockdown, it was just me, Andy, and Lauren, and then you join the team, and almost it's like, right, where you going? And this has been the first time that you've actually been able to go. So I'm really excited for you. I think I'm more excited perhaps now because you get to do all the kit buying.
Yeah, the kit buying's going to be fun. But yeah, I think after Machu Picchu, we'll see. But I think I probably would quite fancy the classic EBC. I think it's, you know, it's something that if I'm working for Evertrek, I'm going to have to do it at some point, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get over that cold thing. And, you know, hopefully, well, because even on Machu Picchu, I think towards the higher altitudes at night, it is going to get still quite
100%.
quite cold. So that'll be my little like introduction to it. And then maybe I'll be like, okay, right, I can do EBC. The problem is that my other half has already done EBC. So
Annapurna?
might have to do it without him. Annapurna?
Take it back twice. I've done it more than once.
Doesn't want to do it again. He's
No.
done it. Been there, done that.
Yeah, that is
Doesn't
true.
wanna do it again.
But that is interesting, see, because Shona wanted to know what you might fancy next. I was thinking send you to K2 base camp.
Right.
So
You're
you can,
obsessed with this K2 thing.
only since I found out that, like, I want to turn it into an ad. Like, you know, one of those like negative ads
Sleep on ice,
where you would be
guys.
like, why would you want to go to K2 base
Sleep
camp?
on ice.
You're in the middle of nowhere. You're sleeping on ice. You're right in the middle of the mountains. The weather can be like all the reasons I think I would like to go.
Sleeping on ice.
Yeah. But
No.
that's another thing. Tina Barrett, Upper Mustang could be an option.
Oof.
As you know, there's a really good place in the Upper Mustang where they do, I think it's called Gorpa or something like that, but they do apples there. Really famous for their apples.
All right. Okay.
And it's the only time we actually recommend people drink alcohol on a high altitude
Right.
trek,
Okay.
because you can get this sort of apple wine cider stuff.
Wow.
The only time I've had apple wine before was in Frankfurt in Hessen in Germany. They do apple wine. It's like still cider.
I was just going to say, like, we're not just talking cider here.
Yeah,
Apple
but
wine,
there's
plenty of that around here.
Yeah, but there's something about it, Fee.
Okay.
Like you have 3 or 4 and things aren't right.
Scrumpy cider.
Scrumpy
really,
cider,
Scrumpy
yeah.
cider. Gosh, everyone's got suggestions of what I should do, which is great. I'm definitely just going to get Machu Picchu done first, and then I'll look at some of these suggestions.
Yeah, see, Shona's the same as me. She loves a kit shopping spree.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to be with you to make sure you do it right, Fee. I don't want you to be like, those boots are 150, but these are 400. You know, you're going to need to get the 400-pound boots. And obviously, if you see 2 pairs of trousers and one of them's 80 pound more, the Trekker way is to go for the 80 pound more ones.
Well, we'll see about that.
No, I've always tried to say I'm not a gear snob, but maybe I am a little bit.
Maybe you are a little bit.
Yeah,
you and Andy both.
I can't help it though. But it is exciting. I am really, really excited. And when it went, well, we haven't actually locked in a date for you yet, have we? But it's
probably September-ish time. So yeah, not going super soon. I've got a few other trips happening, personal trips, not altitude trips, happening before then. Well, actually, one of them is kind of related. So one of them, I'm going up to Snowdonia, to Llanberis, to do a navigation course for mountain navigation. Yeah.
Did you tell me that?
Might not have done.
Yeah.
For my birthday.
Is that with Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Because generally speaking, when I go out on the mountains, my navigation is the person I'm with. So either Andy or my other half Tom or my friend Amy, like they do the routes, they do everything, and I just follow them, which I figure isn't maybe the best idea. So I'm going to learn how to do it myself.
That's amazing. Yeah. You'll love it. It was great.
So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I love it.
That's going to be really fun.
It was a really powerful feeling, Fee, knowing that you can set a map and a compass together to know where you are.
Yeah.
It's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Because you never lost.
I reckon I'll be all right at it. I reckon I'll be okay.
Oh, it's great.
I used to be able to read a road map before we had sat nav. So
yeah. No, this is great.
It's the same, right?
What I really loved was so you got the map and you can kind of like, if you already know where you are, that's great. But if you get completely lost and you have no idea where you are, there's a way to use the compass and the map to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's really great. And you can figure out like roughly where you are.
Yeah.
And then another thing that he'll get you to do is sort of figure out where you are, find a point on a map, and you've got to kind of work out based on the topography, how long you think it'll take and things like that.
Nice.
And also then stop when you get there.
That's
and
cool.
It's great. So like you get to pick out like little features on the map that you know will be there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, okay, I'm going to head there. And then you look and you're like, oh,
there it is.
It works.
Amazing.
You know, it is. Oh, it's fantastic. And
I think I'm really going to enjoy that. So we're doing that, and then a little trip to Greece as after that.
Nice. Oh, Joel, how's it going, mate? Joel. I think was it Joel? Yeah, it was Joel that sent me the snowboarding message. This is one thing you got to get used to.
Or you just flicker out of the screen into your messages.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had a snowboard delivered this morning, haven't you?
Yeah, I bought one. Well, it didn't get delivered.
Well, it attempted to get delivered.
Yeah. No, he did. Yeah, he sent me some really, really. The one thing I will say is that it can't be done.
What?
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Everything you've seen on the Olympics is just fancy camera trickery. Like you put your foot in and you think you're okay, then you put your other foot in and you immediately start moving backwards. And there's no real way to stop yourself. So apparently this does get easier, but yeah, it was really fun. But you got to try and learn these new things, you know,
learn.
like
what one did you get?
what is he asked what snowboard
Joel's
did I
asked
get?
what you got. Yeah.
It was recommended to me by a friend as a good beginner board. It was a Salomon Sight wide board.
It's nothing to me, but
Yeah,
right
Salomon Sight wide board. Yeah.
Snowboarding is cold, so therefore it's not something that I'm.
Yeah, he's telling me you will crack it, Dave. I think he means my spine.
He means your knee.
My knee, yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Someone asked me about the knee then, I think, a minute ago, but oh yeah, my Jesus. Watley, I'm going to have to ask a question. The knee, Dave, still a kipper? Yeah, the knee, we don't
talk about it.
We don't talk
It's
about
like Bruno. We don't talk about it.
No. I'd rather them just get rid of it now, if I'm honest with you.
That could cause you some problems.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but you've got to push through.
It's like trying to fix a tooth that's never going to be quite right, you know. Just whip it out, put a new one in, and I'll just live with it. Metal detectors will be fun. But yeah, I think before we jump onto some questions, I'm wondering if I should do the announcement at the moment.
It'll be a massive shock to anybody that tunes in regularly.
Yeah. So everyone is, at least I've got a spare. Yeah. Well, the thing is, Paul, the what is my bad knee now used to be my good knee.
Mm-hmm.
And my bad knee is now my good knee.
Yeah.
It changes
it's
depending on the level.
Yes,
I really regret calling my now good knee my bad knee because I knew nothing. But now trips are running up again and things like that. Everyone's aware that from time to time that we like to run, sort of little helpful things to get you to base camp. You know, so recently we're doing the Fiery February. There's still some time left in February to take advantage of that one. So if you are looking to go to South America and you want to do the Ring of Fire or the Summits of Fire, that's an awesome opportunity for you to jump on and do that. So do check that out. But more importantly, we are now announcing the launch of another Everest Base Camp competition. So for those of you that are aware, we do this from time to time, and we give away 2 free trips to Everest Base Camp for the winner and a friend. And it's really simple and easy to enter. All you need to do is text Everest to 60. Can you see I'm reading it at the top? 60777, or you can click on the link that Rosie, who is just sat over there, is going to post now.
She's poised with a
Rosie,
hand over the mouse.
Look, do you want to watch this in real time?
She's done it. You're too late. You've missed it. She's done.
She's way behind. Yeah.
You're really lagging.
Yeah. So we're really lagging. So there's been several winners before. We've sent several people to Everest Base Camp, and really now the stopgap has been removed, and we can just kind of we can run trips all the time.
No barriers anymore. So.
Yeah. So we thought, what better way to kind of launch the trip starting again than to
have a little comp.
Yeah, and get 2 people out there. I've entered.
Yeah.
Andy makes me to test the competition entries work. Never won.
No, I imagine we're all excluded, Dave, for legal reasons.
Yeah, I guess so. But still, I just enter under a fake name.
Yeah.
And then book holiday at some point and not tells anyone where I'm going.
Yeah.
But 60777, text the word Everest to there. What will happen then is you'll get another text by reply with a little link that you can click and follow. And then also if you share it as well on social media,
I was just going to say, share it with your friends and family. The more people that enter, the better, and the more chances people have of winning. So get sharing, guys.
Joel Palmer, keep trying, mate. You got to be in it to win it, honestly.
Yeah.
And every single person that I've ever spoke to that's won has always said the same thing, that they never actually expected that they would.
No.
I've never spoken to someone that said, I had a feeling that I was going to win. It always comes right out of nowhere. But honestly, it is my absolute favorite thing that we do. Andy started doing this as a way to kind of, not just sort of promote Evertrek, but to get people out there. We like the single most important thing that we can do for us, for you, is to get people out there into Nepal, get you to base camp, get you to experience what the Himalayas is actually like, because we're 100% confident that once someone actually goes out there and experiences it, that it'll change their life forever. It changed mine. And so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to keep on doing it. But yeah, that is now 100% live, so go ahead and get entering. Well, I think we'll jump into the questions now, shall we?
Okay. See.
Yeah, so I think there's quite a few in there in comments we can respond to. But any questions for Fee about her trip, if you want to put her on the spot and ask her any questions? Yeah, I said that today when I think you found out yesterday that you were coming on.
We discussed it yesterday.
Yeah.
About half an hour ago, I realised I was actually coming on, and you weren't joking. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Suzette Teal, hey, how's it going? A bit late. That's all right. Better late than never. So yeah, I'm going to go through the comments and
let's have a look at what we've got on.
Yeah,
on here,
so then. Mick Hamilton, the Mick Meister.
Tipping.
Yeah, so he has asked, when it comes to tipping, is it best to tip in the local currency? Generally speaking, Mick, you can tip in either the local currency or US dollars.
I was going to say dollars are pretty much accepted everywhere, aren't
they? Most people, particularly in Nepal, if you're talking about Island Peak or Morocco, because I know you're doing Tupkal as well, dollars are really acceptable. Everyone understands the value of the dollar. Everyone knows, what to do with it, how much it is. So it's a really simple way for you to tip them and them to know what they're getting. If you use like UK currency or anything, they'll take some explaining. And also local currency. I have tipped someone in Nepal with Nepalese rupees before, but you end up with a wad like that much.
Right.
It's just inconvenient.
And that's $1, right?
Yeah, that's like $1. It's like inconvenient to carry. So Mick, I would honestly just take US dollars.
And easy to get hold of here. It's nice and easy for you to get hold of, nice and easy to travel with. There's not any restrictions on taking that currency in and out of countries, because some of the currencies you can't take in and you can't take out and all of that. So yeah, dollars is nice and straightforward.
Yeah. Joel Palmer's asked, can we tip in Bitcoin?
Bitcoin,
you can
give it a go.
You can tip me in Bitcoin if you want, Joel. And but I only accept a 1 coin minimum. There's no maximum, but yeah, you'll have to send me at least 1 coin. Awesome. Again, someone's asked, Jerome has asked what type of boots.
Well, yeah, my boots are so old, Jerome, that I don't even know what they are. I have no idea. I'll have to check them when I get home. I'll send a picture of them, actually, because they are like proper old school. They look like something I would have said from like about the 1920s. They're not actually that old, but yeah, they're really heavy. Really not, they haven't, they were before, I think, the technology that gave you really nice, lightweight, flexible boots. So definitely looking to buy a new pair. Absolutely. I'll be doing some boot shopping. I want to go to some places, try some on, walk around in them, get a feel.
Any in mind? Or
maybe some Scarpas, maybe.
Yeah, no, lovely. Yeah, Scarpas are great. Also, yeah, really. As so just have a visitor. Rosie.
Sorry,
Rosie will help you in 2 seconds. We knew it would happen.
It's a real office. It's a real office.
People come in.
Well, they didn't during lockdown. We didn't really have this problem, but now that lockdown is easing a bit, people are knocking on our doors and coming to see us. So
Rosie's posted. Look, you can see this in real time now. Look, Rosie's over there speaking to someone.
Don't show the mess in the office.
No, sorry, is that it? Yeah. Awesome. And then obviously people are. So someone just so Louise Brown has asked an interesting question, which I'd like to delve into a little bit more. Okay. Just come off the phone with your travel nurse. Has anyone ever had issues with their ears at high altitude? So I'm curious what you mean by that. They're getting cold, numb, tingly.
Does she maybe mean like the pressure that you get sometimes? In a plane you'll get pressure.
Yeah.
I wonder if she means that you might get your ears kind of almost blocked with that pressure.
That's a good point. Yeah, hearing loss or something like that could be caused by that. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had any problems with my ears at high altitude other than getting cold. You definitely get I've had ear pops before, where you're yawning and you pop and things like that.
Pressure build up.
Because it is like being on a plane when you're up there, because I bought a packet of crisps and they're like little miniature bombs.
Oh, because
they're so expanded. Yeah. So I had a packet of crisps in my bag, and I remember I sat down against a rock, and it was like I felt like a low boom. And when I opened it up, there was
crisp dust.
Yeah, crisp dust everywhere. But yeah, nice. Louise, let us know exactly what you were thinking in terms of what problems you were expecting with your ears.
It's definitely not a common feedback that we've had from customers. So people talk about when they've been on trips and things that they've experienced, but I haven't heard that from our customers that they've had issues with their ears particularly. But yeah, interested to know.
One thing I did notice was on one trip, your hands kind of swelled. You get fat fingers.
Oh, okay.
But that can happen. I've had it in Brecon.
Sausagey fingers.
Yeah, you do get sausagey fingers. I think having poles makes a difference. But at one time, I remember I was in Namche and I was just waiting out Poseidon, I saw these two girls like looking at their hands and wondering what had gone wrong. And I remember thinking, like, I know the answer to that, but they didn't speak English, so I couldn't tell them. But
Okay.
but yeah, but I think yeah. Does anyone else get like sausage finger hands when you're trekking at altitude? Yeah, let me know. And let's have a quick look. So people are really keen to find out about boots.
I think I've answered that question, to be
Exactly.
honest.
We've had about 5 questions on boots. Tom Massetto has asked, how about you?
I feel like they just want me to say something. I feel there's a certain something they're after me saying.
Yeah. So Mona again has said she wore no rings owing to sausage fingers on her things.
That's a good shout, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. Yeah, so Louise Vane said, oh, thank you. Her daughter, who she's trekking with, had some issues with pressure.
Pressure in the ears.
Yeah, potentially that could, I'm not entirely sure what the fix would be for it. I guess you just have to give yourself time to adjust and all the things you would normally do on a plane.
Yeah,
so bring some sweets.
Yeah, I was just going to say maybe like a boiled sweet.
Yeah.
You can kind of do that trick of holding your nose and kind of trying to pop your ears, I guess. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Lots of people talking about it as well, like the edema, like Mark Van Rossum says, yeah, it's edema, so it's just fluid in the hands. But yeah, Shona gets it every time she hikes in the UK.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I've mainly had it at altitude, but I've definitely had it in Brecon as well. So I was thinking, so it can't just be altitude related, but maybe it's made worse by altitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is an interesting little thing. Lots of things change when you go to altitude. You feel a bit different and a bit funny.
Yeah,
you're going to experience this. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
The best I've noticed is when you first get to altitude, you don't necessarily feel it like right away. But I don't know about you, but when I go upstairs, I tend to do a little jaunt, like a little run up the stairs.
Right. Yeah.
And
two at a time.
Yeah. And I did this at Namche. And when I got to the top, of the stairs and I had stars in my eyes. I was like,
you're like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah. And in on the last trip that I went on, actually, no, it wasn't. It was in April 2019. And I was in Gorakshep. And I was in the eating on the bottom floor, and then someone said, Dave, can you come and have a chat with one of the guys?
Right.
He was on the top floor.
Right.
So I had to walk to the top, had a chat with him, realized I left something downstairs, walked back down to get it, walked back up, and then before I walked in the room, I had to regain my composure.
Wow.
So I walked in looking cool, like I could just run up and down stairs at Gorakshep, but in actual fact, I was outside his room for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
deep breathing.
Yeah. So let's have a quick. Tom Massetto was asked,
don't miss Tom.
How about Euros? Do you know what? I don't think Euros would be like a major issue. I think dollars are more widely known and understood as a currency. So everyone pretty much in all the trips that we go to will know the value of a dollar. When they won't necessarily know the value of what a euro is. I'm thinking particularly in sort of Asia and things like that. They may not be aware.
Yeah.
So I think dollars are probably going to be your first choice if you want to. I'll be honest with you, they're not going to refuse any offering of tips in whatever currency you have. But you can make your life easier and their life easier simply by using dollars. Makes it so much easier. I keep going to say Rosie Long has asked a question because her name has popped up. What level of sleeping bag would we recommend for EBC? Do you have a sleeping bag yet for your?
I don't know. I need to buy everything. Honestly, I need to buy absolutely everything.
So jealous.
So I think pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I was going to say you can obviously take advantage of a free sleeping bag for EBC. If you want to have one of our free sleeping bags, that's no problem. It just saves you on the weight carrying that sleeping bag out on the trip. And you can always get a sleeping bag liner so that you can just pop that inside the sleeping bag so you feel like it's your sleeping bag kind of thing. You don't have to worry too much about it. If you do want to buy your own, what would you say, sort of 3 season, 4 season? Yeah,
so mine is, I think, a 3 to 4 season sleeping bag. So the one that I use is the Rab Ascent 700. I think they do a 900 fill. But the 700 I found is absolutely fine for sort of EBC, Kilimanjaro, that type of thing.
Yeah.
If I was going and sleeping on a high peak like Mera, Island Peak, Aconcagua, I would definitely get a heavier one with more fill. I think, have a look at a 3 to 4 season.
Yeah.
Mountain Equipment do good ones for a good value. Rab do good ones for a good value. I recently did see a couple of Mountain Equipment ones on Cotswold Outdoor that were discounted, so make sure you check it out. And also, there's a website called Sports Pursuit, that you can often get really good deals on and things like
It
that.
depends as well, I suppose, how much you're going to use it on other trips, how much you're going to use it in the UK, and how kind of hot or cold you run. So you can kind of tailor it to the individual. If you know that you're going to be doing lots of really cold trips in the UK and you're going to be up in the mountains, and then you might want to look at the higher rated ones. If you're never going to use it again, which of course you will, because you'll get the bug for doing this kind of thing, and you'll be coming on another trip with Evertrek. But you can make that decision.
Yeah, exactly. See Andrew Scott there mentioning down every time
yeah.
for him. Yeah, mine is a down sleeping bag. I'll be honest with you, I am starting to think more about the synthetic. Just so I don't have to peel a duck every time I want to stay warm. I like the idea. I imagine you're going to be trying to go synthetic where you can.
I don't know.
Because of your veganism.
I'm not a vegan.
No.
I'm a vegetarian, but Dave really enjoys pretending that I'm a vegan.
Yeah. It's quite funny. Like, if I ever see Fee eating cheese or an egg, I'll be like, Fee? But no, yeah, I am trying out more and more of the synthetic stuff. But what I am finding is that it is coming along really, really well. But for the really, really colder climates, like if you're summiting Aconcagua and stuff like that, I think the best stuff that keeps you the warmest is down at the moment.
Yeah.
And not to say that there aren't some really, top quality sort of synthetics out there.
Yeah, I think there is some really good stuff.
It is like the top quality synthetic stuff can be a little bit expensive. So if you're going to be going with brands like Patagonia or Columbia and stuff, you will pay for it. But at the same time, you get the best you can afford, start there. And then, you can try and get more and more there. So Joel sent me a picture of when I suffered extreme sausage finger. Do you reckon it's in my inbox now?
It might be. Let's have a look.
That's the wrong inbox, is it? No, it's not come through yet. Not come through yet, but we'll have a look at it. You might have Facebooked me, perhaps. I don't know. Oh, by the way, if anyone ever does send me a Facebook message, I really do apologize. I generally don't check my messenger. So yeah, email me. It's much, much easier to get a response. Suzette has done one now, which is about vaccines. Yeah, so in reference to vaccines, are positive titers enough for verification of vaccine?
That might be a typo.
Yeah, mainly asking for the MMR, as I had that as a child, also the Hep A/B, just restarted the shots, and the last one will be given very close to the travel date. Can I just upload partial verification, and will that be good enough going to Kili in September? So I'll be honest with you, there are certain things that we recommend and that are highly recommended, but no one will actually check your vaccination status. Quite often, if you are arriving from mainland Africa or certain countries in Africa, they will ask you for a yellow fever certificate. But in terms of stuff like Hep A, Hep B, MMR, and things like that, every time I've gone to Tanzania, they've never checked that level. You can get a little card from Nomad Travel Clinic that sort of writes down when and where you've been vaccinated. So I do have one somewhere, but I've never brought it with me, and I've never had to prove it, and I've never been asked. If you're referring also to the COVID vaccination, Tanzania doesn't check, doesn't need a verification, but other countries do. And everyone, I'm assuming you're aware of that, but yeah, you can download that COVID travel pass for foreign travel, which will basically just give you a little QR code and some details about when you've been vaccinated. But there's nothing, there's no checks on any other vaccinations or anything like that. That doesn't mean we don't recommend you get them.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of the vaccination advice that we give is for you. So for you to feel comfortable that you're covered and that you're not going to pick anything nasty up when you're traveling. It's less about the country themselves being concerned. Oh, hello. That's a very odd picture that Joel has sent.
Do you know what I thought that was for a second there? I honestly thought that was a really, really bad case of frostbite. Yeah, that's what I thought that was.
You should be able to, copy and you should be able to copy and paste that image in to share that.
You do your answer there.
So so in terms of the vaccinations, it's absolutely up to the individual, but have a look at the recommendations and do have a think about what vaccinations you would want to get. They are recommendations, a lot of them. But it's to keep you safe and to make sure you don't pick anything nasty up that you're then going to have to live with the consequences of. This is going to be a very enjoyable picture. This is Joel, the master of bands himself,
Do you know what I'm doing? Andy's used to this, and I'm pretty sure I can show
I don't know
it.
what you're doing.
So there's a serious case of sausage finger. Yeah, so that's what happens when you get too much. Yeah, lols, mega lols. Yeah, there we are. I just wanted to 100% make sure that I could hide.
I'm impressed with that. I would have just like copied and put
honestly,
it into the comments.
There's loads of stuff I can do. Look at this.
That's great, Dave.
That's worked so well, isn't it? I'm gonna just stop talking.
Maybe stop doing
that. Yeah. Let's go back to the chat. There you are, Joel. Thank you very much for that, mate. That's awesome. Suzette Teal, I've had yellow fever when I went to Saudi and Kuwait. I saw the list. Thank you. So you had yellow fever?
In had yellow fever vaccination, I imagine.
Yeah.
I hope so. Anyway, Suzette, I hope you had. You mean you've already had the vaccination, but maybe you mean you've had yellow fever. I hope not.
Yeah. Right. Let's find out about that. Suzette, let us know whether you had the vaccination or yellow fever. So Helen, as that's an interesting one as well. You suffered on Kilimanjaro with exhaustion and altitude sickness and was stretched down from Stella Point. Oh, that's so close as well. Do you think I would be okay for an EBC trip or stay clear for a different challenge? Helen, I absolutely think you'd be fine for an EBC trip. I think there's Kilimanjaro is really, really tough. It's something that people underestimate quite a lot because they've seen celebrities do it on the TV and they think that it's something that anybody can go and do. And I think if you probably made a couple of changes, usually you don't end up at that point sort of overnight. The exhaustion is down to sort of dehydration. Lack of sleep is a big one, losing your appetite. And there are certain things that you can do in terms of, taking Diamox would make a huge difference. But I've talked about this a few times, Helen. So one of the things I'll say is, so I went to Everest Base Camp in 2017 with my father, who was, I think, 59 at the time. And he didn't make base camp. So he got to Le Boucher just before base camp and then turned back. Pretty much exactly what you've said. Exhaustion and altitude sickness was what turned him around. He came back in 2019 with me and made base camp, and it was night and day different. And all he did was put in a couple of little differences, like making sure he was drinking enough, making sure he's eating enough. He took Diamox, and it was absolutely that. So yeah, 100% you can do EBC. Don't give up on your high altitude aspirations, and you'll 100% make it.
And also, it's worth remembering that just because you've experienced altitude sickness once, it's no indicator that you'll experience it again. So so you might not have the same reaction second time round, and vice versa. So you could have gone to altitude once and been absolutely fine, and then the second time you go to altitude, you experience some altitude sickness. It doesn't really have a pattern, so it can hit you anytime. So it's just about being aware of those symptoms, flagging it up early, not trying to push through, not trying to be a hero, but flagging it up to your guide, saying, look, I'm not feeling quite right. And then you can make those small changes to adjust it and make sure that you've got the best chance of succeeding. But yeah, absolutely, I would say, if EBC is something that you want to do, then enter the competition. You might win a free trip.
Exactly. And don't forget, you got to Stella Point. That's above 5,500 meters. Yeah. That's higher than base camp by quite a bit. So if you were going to base camp, you'd have made it. And it's easier. Base camp summit night is harder than any one day on Everest base camp trip. Overall, collectively, they're probably about the same. But summit night on Kili is something that's like, it stands alone. But you made it to Stella Point. Like, you don't have a problem with altitude. You seriously did get to like a really high point. And this certificate here that I've got, it actually has a point on there where it tells you whether you've been to Kili or Stella Point. So you got to 5,756 meters. 5,756 meters. That's amazing. We've got another question, actually, which we're quite interested to answer, from John from Brecon. So he's asked, what experience would you need to go to Machu Picchu? You need to be as experienced as Fee.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, hopefully none.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm planning on, so I do quite a lot of sort of hiking and walking and trekking in the UK anyway. But I'm planning on upping that in the kind of run up to my trip. So I'm planning on getting out more in the UK. Hopefully the weather is starting to brighten up a little bit now from the miserable rain that we've been experiencing recently. So just doing more of that and getting into the gym, doing a bit of work on my kind of cardio fitness. getting that kind of so I'm comfortable with being a bit more out of breath, you know, when you do running and things, and you're struggling to get the air in a little bit. That's quite a good way of getting used to altitude, I think, because you get used to that feeling of not being able to breathe so well. So I'm planning on doing that. A bit of weight training, building up the old leg muscles, the old stepper in the gym as well. So yeah, all of that kind of stuff is what I'm planning on doing, and hopefully that'll get me through.
Yeah, I mean, that if you did all of those things, you would be really well prepared, I think, for Machu Picchu.
I've only got to do them once, right?
That's it, just once.
Just once go on the stepper.
Once on the stepper.
On the treadmill.
Exactly, yeah.
Once pick up a weight.
Yeah,
great,
exactly.
Cool.
Pick up a
I'm
weight
there.
and carry it with you forever. You know, but I think, yeah, you don't have to be like Machu Picchu probably sits. We talked previously on another live with Andy about the difficulties of our trips. How difficult are they really?
Yeah.
And we almost put them on a little bit of a scale with things like Aconcagua at the extreme end, and other things like our training weekends and more introductory trips to high altitude. It sits somewhere between introductory and EBC, which is probably in the middle. You know, you still go to high altitude. You're going to go over 4,000 meters. It is a tough trip. But you're not doing anything technical. It is just hiking. You're not spending a really long time at extreme altitude. So it is a really gentle acclimatization. Kili isn't. Kili is quite an extreme fast acclimatization, where Machu Picchu is more gentle. And it is tough. And actually getting to Machu Picchu up the steps is a challenge. Particularly those steps at the end, I've heard are really good. You're going to love those steps.
Oh, I love a step.
Yeah, I love a step. But yeah, you certainly don't need to be, you know, an everyday. You can be an everyday person. You don't have to be a superhero. I mean, we recommend you do the training. If you don't do the training, you can still get there, but it's just that little bit harder. Yeah. Hopefully that's kind of answered that for you, John.
That's a really nice comment from Robert there as well about the British Heart Foundation training plans. So I hadn't heard of those, haven't seen those, but I'll definitely take a look at those, Robert. That sounds great. It's nice to have a sort of actual plan to follow, isn't it, rather than just some random ideas, which is where I am at the moment. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, and hopefully the British Heart Foundation, they'll be good plans as well.
I would have said they'd know what they're talking about, wouldn't you?
Good cardio.
Yeah.
Good cardio
absolutely.
plans. Yeah, and you know, there's lots of other comments as well about people about that. You know, if you've been to altitude before and you don't have a great time, does that, you know, exclude you from ever going back again? But I think, yeah, it doesn't. If you have altitude sickness, it's not usually related just to one thing. It's accumulation of things that happen over time that then render you sort of safer to go back. And there's someone watched a video of a guy on EBC who nearly died the first time he tried EBC. Second time, no issues at all. Wow, that's awesome.
Amazing that he went back.
Yeah, amazing that he went. Shona, can you send me a link to that as well? I'd be interested to watch that one myself.
That would be really useful.
And find out a little bit more about that.
I think we may have missed a question. If we just go back.
Yeah.
There we go. Serious question.
Right, from Mona. How dare I miss it?
What are the conditions like?
So, serious question. I'm in early stage liver failure. You don't do things by half, do you, Mona? It's being reversed. The insurance company for October has cost me a small fortune. If you had to be hospitalized in Nepal, what are the conditions like? Pretty good. The Nepalese hospitals are actually pretty damn good. You know, you hear a lot of like horror stories and things like that about hospitals, but actually the doctors in Kathmandu, the Nepalese doctors, are really, really well trained. They're sort of trained to, you know, what we would consider our standards. So the level of care that you'd get in both is really good. Every person that I know has actually had to spend time in the hospital in Kathmandu had nothing but praise for them in terms of the level of care, the quality of care, and things like that. I think with those type of things, I would perhaps, like I said, definitely you've got the insurance, but one key thing of the insurance I would consider is the sort of repatriation cover. So if they did have to put you on a plane and send you back home to get treatment, generally speaking, that's quite an expensive thing to do because they have to get like a plane that's equipped to look after you as you go. So yeah, most policies I think do have it, but it definitely is worth checking stuff like that. Awesome. Let's have a quick look. I think that's pretty much it now. I think we've pretty much caught up with everything. I didn't know how it would go quick.
I know.
It's so quick. But honestly, yeah, so I'm really excited, dude. I think what we should do for you is we should follow your preparation, get you in every now and again.
Fees, trip preparation.
Yeah, fees, trip preparation.
That was almost a tongue twister.
Yeah, that's what I think
absolutely.
we should do. I think we should do.
When I buy my first pair of pants,
Yeah,
I'll bring them in.
Yeah, when you've got your first pair of Murano wool pants, we should say merino. When you've got your first set of Meindl Boutans, when you've got was that seamless?
Yeah, it was
no
beautiful.
one would have known.
No one, that was absolutely
no one,
beautiful. Yeah,
I think we should do that. We should get you back in from time to time and like catch up with you about how it's going, what training's is going,
Definitely.
and so if you're going towards the end of the year, we'll get you in just towards that. What training have you done, feet? None yet. None. What boots have you got? None. Don't have any. No. So,
the week before I go, what have you bought?
Yeah, and that'd be awesome. But guys, I think that's pretty much it from us. You're all happy with the bingos.
Everyone's got bingo.
Again, remember Everest to 60777. Please enter the competition because it really makes my day to be able to send 2 people, the winner and a friend, to Everest Base Camp for absolutely free.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience. Again, thanks for tuning in, and normal service will resume.
I was going to say you'll have Andy back next week, guys, so you won't have to put up with me.
I don't know if we will.
Oh, is he not back now? Oh, no, he's not, is he?
No, I don't know if we will.
Oh, gosh, well, it won't be me next week. It'll be some.
Should we drag Rosie in?
Yeah, we need to get Rosie in, don't we?
Because Rosie wants to come on to the live, but she doesn't want to do the whole thing.
She's desperate to come on. We had to fight her off today. So yeah.
Yeah, but when I say, well, you have to stay for the whole day, for the whole live, she's like, oh no. So
we'll do a 24-hour live telethon the day that Rosie's on.
Live-a-thon, right? That's it. Awesome, guys. Take care. Have a good one, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for being so kind.
Bye.
Bye.
Now we need to pretend like we're newscasters.